In the tapestry of human history, some threads are woven with iron and blood. Stories of those who rose to power not to nurture, but to dominate. Their names still evoke dread, their legacies reshaping continents and leaving scars on the human psyche. Today, we journey back to confront the shadows cast by the 10 most feared leaders the world has ever known. These are not just historical figures, but forces whose reigns remind us what happens when power is absolute and empathy is lost. From Russia's frozen steppes to Iraq's deserts, their methods varied, but the outcome was the same, a world held captive by terror. As we begin our countdown, peeling back myth to reveal the stark reality of their rule, the Chronicle of Fear begins now. Our countdown begins with Adolf Hitler, a name synonymous with evil. In post-World War I Germany, Hitler harnessed national discontent, dismantled democracy, and built a totalitarian state on racial hatred. His vision, a 1,000-year Reich, purified and dominant. For millions, fear was daily persecution, deportation, extermination. The Holocaust was industrialized genocide. The world feared his conquests, Austria, Czechoslovakia, Poland igniting what too. His armies swept across Europe while the Gestapo's network turned neighbors into informants, crushing dissent. The Hitler Youth indoctrinated the next generation, ensuring fanatical devotion. Fear kept the German war machine running, silencing resistance. Ultimately, Hitler's reign consumed itself. Trapped in his bunker, he took his own life as Allied forces closed in. His legacy endures a cautionary tale of how hateful ideology and absolute power can lead humanity to the brink. The ruins he left were not just of cities but of civilization itself. Hitler remains the ultimate warning of unchecked tyranny. From the ashes of the Russian Empire rose the Soviet Union, ruled by Joseph Stalin, the man of steel. Stalin outmaneuvered rivals to become absolute dictator, ruling with bureaucratic terror and paranoia. The Great Purge saw millions arrested, show trials staged, and countless executed or sent to the Gulag, a vast network of forced labor camps. Fear was insidious. A careless word could mean death or exile. Stalin's cruelty extended to the peasantry. The engineered famine in Ukraine, the Holodomor, killed millions. Starvation became a weapon, crushing resistance and eliminating entire classes. Even after World War II, Stalin's grip tightened, his cult of personality suffocating. He was mourned publicly, but many secretly rejoiced at his death. Stalin ruled by fear, leaving a legacy of mass graves and a traumatized nation. His reign is a chilling reminder of the cost of unchecked power. The shadow of Stalin's terror still haunts history. He remains a symbol of the cold calculus of fear. In the 12th century steppes of Central Asia, Genghis Khan rose from brutal poverty to unite the Mongol tribes. He unleashed his warriors, creating the largest land empire in history. The fear he inspired was elemental, a force that moved with wildfire speed, overwhelming civilizations. His strategy, submit or be annihilated. Cities that resisted were destroyed, their populations slaughtered. Pyramids of skulls marked his victories, warning others of the consequences of defiance. Tens of millions died and entire cultures vanished. Yet within his empire he enforced order and law, and even religious tolerance. But for those in his path, Genghis Khan was the embodiment of unstoppable terror. His name became a synonym for brutal conquest. The echoes of his fearsome legacy still reverberate today. In Cambodia, Pol Pot's Khmer Rouge sought to erase history and restart society at year zero. Cities were emptied, millions forced into rural labor camps, and anyone with education was marked for death. The regime abolished currency, religion, and family, molding people into a single class of peasant workers. The killing fields became sites of mass execution, victims bludgeoned to death to save bullets. Nearly a quarter of Cambodia's population perished in under 4 years. Pol Pot ruled as an unseen, omnipotent force, his orders carried out by the faceless Angkar. Fear was constant, of starvation, denunciation, and arbitrary cruelty. When the regime fell, the world was shocked by the scale of horror. Pol Pot's reign stands as a warning of utopian dreams turned nightmare. In 16th century Russia, Ivan the Terrible became the first Tsar, forging absolute monarchy through fear and bloodshed. After his wife's death, Ivan's paranoia deepened, leading to the creation of the Oprichnina, his private army of enforcers. The Oprichniki terrorized the land, executing and confiscating property at will. The massacre of Novgorod saw thousands tortured and killed, sending a chilling message: no one was safe. Ivan's rage consumed even his own family. He killed his heir in a fit of anger. His rule centralized power but left Russia traumatized. Ivan's legacy, a model of autocratic terror emulated by later rulers. The shadow of the terrible Tsar is long indeed. His reign is a stark lesson in the dangers of unchecked authority. Saddam Hussein ruled Iraq for over 2 decades, blending ancient brutality with modern police-state tactics. He seized power through violence, cementing authority with public executions and a pervasive cult of personality. The Mukhabarat, his secret police, made dissent impossible. Torture and collective punishment were routine. Saddam's cruelty extended to entire ethnic groups. The Anfal campaign against the Kurds used chemical weapons and mass deportations. His wars with Iran and Kuwait left devastation in their wake. Even in defeat, he crushed uprisings with ruthless force. Saddam ruled Iraq as a personal fiefdom, his portraits a constant reminder of his dominance. For millions, he was the modern face of tyranny. His legacy is one of relentless, systematic fear. North Korea, under Kim Jong-il, became the world's most isolated and tightly controlled state. He perfected totalitarian control, blending Stalinist repression with a bizarre cult of personality. The state controlled not just actions but thoughts. Loyalty was mandatory and dissent unthinkable. The military-first policy starved civilians while building one of the world's largest armies. Political prison camps, or Kwanliso, held generations of families in horrific conditions. The 3 generations of punishment policy terrorized the entire population. Internationally, Kim used nuclear brinkmanship to keep the world on edge. His death revealed a nation held captive by fear, a legacy passed to his son. North Korea remains a chilling testament to the power of absolute control. In the 5th century, Attila the Hun emerged as the scourge of God, terrorizing a crumbling Roman world. His mastery of mounted warfare and reputation for savagery shattered enemy morale before battle even began. Attila ruled through fear and tribute, sacking cities and demanding gold from empires. His invasion of Gaul culminated in the bloody Battle of the Catalonian Plains. The following year he marched on Italy, only turning back after meeting Pope Leo I. Attila died suddenly and his empire collapsed, but his legend endured. For Europe, he was the ultimate external threat, an unstoppable force of chaos. His name became a byword for terror and destruction. The fear he inspired shaped the course of history. Attila remains a symbol of the barbarian at the gates. In 15th century Wallachia, Vlad the Impaler ruled with a cruelty that became legend. His preferred punishment, impalement, was a slow, agonizing, and public death used on enemies and subjects alike. The infamous Forest of the Impaled terrified invading armies, forcing even the Ottoman Sultan to retreat. Vlad's cruelty extended beyond impalement, with tales of boiling, nailing turbans and dining among the dead. Whether exaggerated or not, these stories created an aura of terror that protected his realm. His legend inspired Bram Stoker's Dracula, cementing his place in history. Vlad was a product of a brutal age, fighting for survival with unmatched savagery. His name remains a synonym for gruesome fear. Vlad the Impaler's legacy is one of terror wielded with chilling precision. In post-WW Italy, Benito Mussolini rose as Il Duce, forging fascism and ruling through violence and fear. His black shirts terrorized opponents, culminating in the March on Rome and his appointment as prime minister. Mussolini consolidated power, abolishing press freedom, outlawing opposition, and building a cult of personality. The Oviara secret police silenced dissent, and his slogan, "Mussolini is always right," dominated public life. His ambition led to the brutal conquest of Ethiopia and alliance with Hitler, dragging Italy into World War II. As his regime collapsed, Mussolini was executed and displayed publicly, a grim end for a dictator. He pioneered 20th century totalitarianism, showing how easily a nation can fall under a strongman's spell. Mussolini's legacy is a warning of the dangers of fascism. His rule remains a stark reminder of fear's power in politics. We've journeyed through history's darkest corridors, witnessing how unchecked ambition and absolute power breed fear. These leaders left not just millions dead, but entire nations traumatized, and a world forever changed. Their stories warn us against the allure of the strongman and the dangers of silencing dissent. The lesson is clear: democratic institutions, checks and balances, and a free press are vital. The silence of a fearful people is the soil in which tyranny grows. Power itself isn't evil, but without accountability, it becomes catastrophe. Their shadows linger, reminding us to remain vigilant and courageous in the face of injustice.